A wonderful morning, all. If you can dream it, you can do it. With this inspiring quote of Walt Disney, we welcome you all to the 24th December episode of Civilspedia's Daily Current Affairs Analysis brought to you by ShankarIASAcademy. And we also kindly request your subscription to the ShankarIASAcademy YouTube channel. Your subscription means a lot to us. And here are the list of topics taken for today's discussion. And the first topic is about the Chillai Kalan phenomenon, which can be observed over the Kashmir Valley region. And the second topic is about the frilled shark, which is also considered a living fossil. And the third topic is about the Indian naval stitched sailing vessel Kaundinya. And the fourth topic is about the going electric is the only measure to tackle the Delhi's air pollution crisis. And the fifth topic is about the Prelims Focus, where we discuss important current affairs which are relevant for our UPSC prelims. With this news article from the Indian Express, we are about to learn on Chillai Kalan, which is a weather phenomenon associated with the Kashmir Valley region, which can be observed seasonally. So this Chillai Kalan refers to the harshest winter period in the Kashmir Valley region, which can last up to 40 days, and it also marks the coldest phase of winter associated with frequent snowfall, freezing temperature and sub-zero nights. So at nights during the Chillai Kalan phenomenon, the Kashmir Valley will experience a sub-zero temperature, that is, the temperature may go beyond 0 degrees Celsius. So here is the pictorial depiction of the Chillai Kalan phenomenon, on which is associated with the heavy snowfall and extreme winter weather during over that Kashmir Valley region. And this Chillai Kalan phenomenon recently began on 21st December of 2025, with the season's first major snowfall has been observed over the Kashmir Valley region, and it also ended a prolonged dry spell which is prevailed over the region before the arrival of this Chillai Kalan phenomenon over the Kashmir Valley region. And the upper reaches of the Kashmir Valley also experiences the significant snowfall. The region which experiences the snowfall in the upper reaches are the Gulmarg, Sonamarg, Sadhana Pass and Rasdan Pass. So these passes are very important for our UPSC prelims, and this regions is also very important with respect to UPSC prelims, and the plains of that region also experienced a widespread rainfall because of this phenomenon. And the snowfall may lead to the temporary closure of Kupwara Karna Road and Rasdan Pass and Mughal Road, and it also disrupt the activities of Srinagar International Airport. And with respect to this phenomenon, it is associated with three phases in Kashmir. That is, Chillai Kalan period is the first phase. This period will prolonged for 40 days between December to January, and it is considered or associated with the feature of coldest period of that region and experiencing maximum snowfall. And the second phase is the Chillai Kurd, which can be prolonged for 20 days, and it will be the gradual reduction in the snowfall or the period marking the reduced cold intensity from the earlier period of Chillai Kalan. And the third phase is Chillai Bacha, which can prolong for 10 days, which is the gradual or the marking the end of winter over the Kashmir Valley region. And what are the meteorological significance associated with this phenomenon? The snowfall may improve the water availability by replenishing the glaciers, springs, streams and rivers of that region, and ensures the water security over that region, which also provides relief from extreme nocturnal cold caused by dry weather conditions. And what are the climatic and cultural importance associated with this phenomenon? The temperatures can drop up to minus 10 degrees Celsius or even below the minus 10 degrees Celsius in some parts of Kashmir, and the water bodies may freeze, including the shallow lakes, and pipes of the pipe water may also be stagnant. And during this phenomenon, a traditional practice has been identified, that is the use of kangri, which is a fire pot for making themselves the people or the population may use this fire pot for securing themselves from the extreme weather conditions, and special winter housing adaptation measures also has been taken. And it also plays a critical role in the rabi crop cycle and also in the horticultural production, especially for the production of apples. And moving to the prelims practice question, the question is with reference to Chillai Kalan. Consider the following statement. First statement, Chillai Kalan is the coldest winter period in Kashmir and lasts for 40 days. Second statement, Chillai Kalan begins after the onset of spring and is associated with mainly with heat waves. So which of the statements given above is correct? And we can easily eliminate the second statement because it is not begins after the onset of spring and it is not associated with heat waves. And the first statement was correct. And the answer is one only, option A. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. This news article from the Indian Express explains about the species known as the frilled shark, and it is also considered a living fossil. So this frilled shark is highlighted as a rare deep sea species which is often termed as a living fossil, and the scientist has also noted that it has remained a morphological unchanged species for over 80 millions of years, so that only it has been identified as a for a living fossil, and the source reference also aligned with the National Geographic data and established zoological literature. So what is this living fossil is of? A living fossil is a living species that closely resembles organisms known only from fossils and has shown very little evolutionary change over millions of years. So to identify it as a living fossil, it needs to be a living species, and it also closely resembles the organism from the fossil stage and has also shows very little evolutionary change over millions of years. And the term of this living fossil was popularized by the famous geologist and biologist Charles Darwin, who is famous for his developing of theory known as the evolution by natural selection. So what are the classic living fossil species that existing even today? Or the horseshoe crab, which is belonging to the Ordovician period, and the calcinth species of a fish from the Devonian period, which is also a living fossil, and the other species is ginkgo biloba, which is also a living fossil belonging to a tree species or the fern species. And from this is geological time, and the evolution of this horseshoe crab was begin on the Ordovician period, which is categorized which is from the Ordovician period, and from the Devonian period the evolution of this calcinth species of fish has not been morphologically changed even today, and from the Eocene period it is belong to the ginkgo biloba fern species. And with respect to the frilled shark, the scientific name is Chlamydococcus anguinus, and the class which belongs is Chondrichthyes, which is also a cartilaginous fish species classes, and the order which it belongs is Hexanchiforums. And the distinctive features of this frilled shark are it can be identified with the length, that is the long length of the species, and eel-like body, and 6 pair of frilled gill slits has been identified on the side of the fish. So this will be the 6 pairs of frilled gill slits, which is a primitive trait of this frilled shark species, and having 300 needle-like sharp teeth. And here we can see the exact image of the frilled shark species. So the habitat of this frilled shark can be identified on the deep sea region belonging to 200 to 1500 meter depth, and it can also distributed across the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean regions. And the common behavior of the species is slow moving in nature, and it is also identified as a solitary predator, and it feeds mainly on squids and small fishes. And the evolutionary significance associated with this frilled shark, the lineage can date back to the late Cretaceous period. So in the geological time, it has not morphologically changed much from the Cretaceous period, and it retains the primitive anatomical characters or traits which is absent in modern day sharks. And with respect to its conservation status and the threat of the species, it has been classified as a near threatened species according to the IUCN Red Book data list. And the major threat of the species are the bycatch in the deep sea trawling. So it can be a bycatch product from the trawling, deep sea trawling nets, and also the slow reproduction associated with species also being vulnerable to the habitat or the population of the species, and low resilience it has. And with respect to the production, no specific species specific global production treaty has been involving for the conservation of the species population. And the benefits, the indirectly from the, it has been indirectly benefited from the deep sea fishing regulations in some regions over the conservation of the species. And moving to the prelims practice question with reference to the frilled shark, consider the following statement. First statement, the frilled shark belonged to an ancient lineage of cartilaginous fishes and is considered a living fossil due to minimal evolutionary change over millions of years. Second, the frilled shark primarily inhabits shallow coastal waters and is listed as critically endangered by the IUCN Red List. Which of the statements given above is are correct? So this the first statement was correct because it is exactly depicting the features or the evolutionary phase of the frilled shark. And the second statement was incorrect because it is not inhibits the shallow waters. It is a deep sea organism, and it also been categorized as a near threatened species in the IUCN Red List. So the second statement was incorrect. So the answer for this question will be option A, one only. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. With this news article from the Press Information Bureau, we are about to discuss on Indian Navy stretched sailing vessel Kaundinya and its features as well as its historical significance. So this INSV Kaundinya is the Indian Navy's first stretched sailing vessel, which also revives the ancient India shipbuilding tradition into the forefront. And this INSV Kaundinya will undertook its first voyage on December 29th of 2025 from the Porbandar region of Gujarat to the Muscat region of Oman. And this voyage will symbolically represent or retraces the historic Indian Ocean maritime routes which was followed by the earlier mariners, traders as well as voyagers of the Indian region, and also symbolizes the India's linkage with the West Asian region. And here we can see the clear image of INSV Kaundinya vessel, and in the bow of the vessel we can see the clear sculptural depiction of Simmayali, which is associated with the South India's oceanic iconography. And here we can see also the representation of our national bird peacock in the sail of the vessel. And this vessel was entirely built based on the earlier tradition of shipbuilding that has been followed in the Indian region. And what are the unique technological and historical features associated with this vessel? It was built using stitched plank shipbuilding technique, which is on which the wooden planks has been held to be bound strongly with the coconut coir ropes, and it has also has been sealed using the natural resins. So it is very important. And the other significant important fact that has to be noted was there will be no metal nails or modern fasteners has been used on the construction of this vessel. And this technique of shipbuilding has been prevalent in the historical manner along the western and eastern coast of Indian region, and also been prevalent over the Indian Ocean littoral regions. And this type of shipbuilding technique will also enable the ship or the vessel to undertake a long distance sea voyages to the regions of West Asian region, East African region, and also to the Southeast Asian regions. And this new or the revival of this ancient tradition of shipbuilding to the forefront will be done under the institutional and administrative initiatives constructed under the tripartite memorandum of understanding involving the parties of Ministry of Culture, Indian Navy, and the Hodi Innovations. And it was built by traditional artisans under the supervision or the master shipwright under Sri Babu Shankaran, and it was also supported by the technological or the innovation supports will be done by Indian Navy and academic and other research institutions. And with respect to its name and cultural significance of this vessel, it was named after Kaundinya, a legendary ancient Indian mariner. And this Kaundinya is associated with the earlier Indian maritime contact, having the contact with Southeast Asian region, especially to the region of Funan region, which has its earlier cultural linkage with India, which is present day Cambodia, and it also symbolizes India's civilisational maritime outreach and Indian Ocean trade networks along the Southeast Asian regions. And moving to the practice question with reference to INSV Kaundinya, consider the following statement. The first statement, it is constructed using a stitched plank technique employing coconut coir ropes instead of metal fasteners. Second statement, it was built exclusively by the Indian Navy without the involvement of traditional artisans or civilian institutions. Which of the statements given above is are correct? So in this question, they have asked about the correct statement, and the first statement was correct because they used the stitched plank technique, and there will be no involvement of any metal nails or metal fasteners. So the first statement was correct, and the second statement was incorrect because it was built exclusively not only by the Indian Navy. It involves the various other parties, exclusively inclusive of Ministry of Cultures and other research institution without the involvement of traditional artisans is an incorrect statement. So the answer for this question will be option A, one only. Yes. With this, we move to the next topic. For a choking Delhi, going electric is the way out. With this news article from the Indian Express, we are going to discuss on the transition to the electric vehicles is the only way to tackle the Delhi's air pollution. So Delhi's air pollution is categorized as structural, chronic and systemic in nature and not restricted to a particular season, and the transport sector has been identified as the single largest controllable contributor to the Delhi's air pollution, and the short-term measures such as the graded response action plan and the curbing of traffic and the closure of schools will only address the symptoms of the Delhi's air pollution and not addressing the root cause for this air pollution over that region. And with respect to the transport and the air pollution over that region, the contribution to the particulate matter of 2.5 was majorly comes from the tail pipeline emission, congestion, as well as the idling because of the traffic agglomeration of more number of vehicles and the ideal state of vehicles during the traffic signals, and the aging vehicles also contribute around 25 to 40% of the particulate matter of air pollution in the Delhi region. And the transport emissions are controllable using the policies, unlike the transboundary emissions or the meteorological factors. So this transboundary factors is classic example of stubble banning over that region. And in the recent times, there is a declining momentum or the declining trend in the adoption of electric vehicles, according to the which is led to the governance gap, which is also the electric autos which is observed or registered under 2024 will be around only 1,426 registration has been registered on the year of 2024. On year 2025, zero registrations on electric autos, which shows the stark gap in the adoption of electric autos between the population, and the electric two-wheelers also declining from the 2023 levels of adoption, and the fleet aggregator scheme will not work properly because of the poor operationalization and the Delhi's EV policy, which is delayed because of various other reasons, and the incentives provided for the adoption of electric vehicles also been withdrawn under this Delhi EV policy, which is also led to the market uncertainty over the adoption of electric vehicles. And there is a 4 strategic pillars that needs to be taken for the clean mobility transition, which is also led to the progressive path in the curbing of air pollution over the Delhi region. And the first pillar is the full scale electric vehicle transition. That needs to be accelerated EV adoption across all segments of the transportation, and phasing out of new non-electric two-wheelers and three-wheeler sales from the year of 2026 has to be included, and the stable incentives has to be provided for the enabling of people to adapt to the electric vehicles, allowing them to have a clear timelines for the adoption, and the investors and consumers confidence needs to be elevated for adapting to the electric vehicles, and it has to be accommodative with the global parallels from the global methods of London, Oslo, Shenzhen EV phase out timelines. And the pillar 2 is the electric public transport revolution. So the public transport system also needs to be elevated to the adoption of electric vehicles, and to cater the Delhi's population of around 30 million population. The existing buses was only around 7,000 to 8,000, which is grossly inadequate for catering the needs of the 30 million population. So the public transport system's target needs to be elevated with the adoption of only 20,000 electric buses needs to be taken into the government by the year of 5 years down the line, and high frequency services needs to be included between the shuttle service needs to be taken for 5 to 7 minutes, and strong last mile connectivity needs to be ensured for the ensuring the people to get transported from the inner regions of the Delhi, and also it impacts the each electric bus eliminates thousands of kilometers of daily tailpipe emission. And what is the pillar 3? It is the phasing out of old polluting vehicles. So by adopting the electric vehicles, or the gradual transition of electric vehicles was simultaneously done by phasing out of old polluting vehicles, and the aggressive vehicles has been included with the scrappage policy and needs to be phased out, and year round restrictions on pre-BS4 and Bharat Stage 6 vehicles, and the combination of incentives, enforcements, and firm deadlines needs to be taken into account for ensuring the phasing out of old polluting vehicles from the national capital region. And the pillar 4 is the charging and swapping infrastructures, or as public utilities. So by ensuring there will be an adequate charging stations and swapping infrastructures need to be developed across the national capital region to ensure the smooth transition from the earlier fossil fuels transportation system to the electric vehicle system. And the current issue is that the fragmented network of these charging stations and non-functional charging stations, and the poor monitoring of the swapping infrastructure is also leading to the less adoption of the electric vehicles between the population, and there is no major recent state level tenders has been tendered out for the establishment of such charging or swapping infrastructures in the national capital region. And what are the required action needs to be taken into an serious manner is that the large scale public charging and swapping rollout has to be taken, and the grid upgrades also be a viable option for ensuring the smooth transition of electric vehicles by ensuring electricity to all the regions, and the real time uptime dashboards needs to be updated, and accountability for the operators who are ensuring the accountability is also being an effective monitoring method for the electric vehicle transition. And the best practices will be the treating the electric vehicle charging like an water or electricity infrastructure. So by treating the electric vehicle charging ports or the station like the electricity or water infrastructure is also considered as a best practice for ensuring the proper establishment of electric charging stations across the national capital region. And what are the broader governance and policy implications on ensuring the implementation of this electric vehicles adoption is that the policy control requires predictable policies and not emergency governance. So apart from the emergency governance, there need to be a predictable policy across the population for the easier adoption, and integrated approach thinking needs to be taken into account with respect to transportation, health, energy, and urban planning. And it is not only focusing over the electric vehicles, it needs to be an integrated approach and combining all the dimensions of transport, health, energy, and urban planning. And it also been reinforces the Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, that is right to life, through the ensuring clean air across the region. And it also aligns with the India's commitment to the nationally determined contribution and the net zero emission by the year of 2070, and to attain the sustainable development goal of 11, which is the sustainable cities for all. And moving to the mains practice question, and the question is: transport electrification is not merely a technological shift but a governance and public health imperative for Indian cities. Critically examine this statement in the context of Delhi's air pollution crisis. This is a 15 more question, and we need to answer within 250 words. Please take this question and post your answers in the comment section. We will evaluate and give the feedback in the comment section itself. With this, we move to the prelims focus. And here comes the prelims focus, and the first topic is about Dudran, a traditional Kashmiri village which was recently in news because despite having extreme or long winters and isolation, the life remains closely grounded to its tradition. And this Dudran is a hilly village in the Uri area, which is located near the line of control of Baramulla district on northern Kashmir. And the life and the sustenance of the people of this village primarily depends upon the agriculture and livestock, which is also known as the cattle rearing. And they also follow the traditional method of food preservation. They rely on traditional and natural method of food preservation, such as they preserve the food by drying them and smoking the food items, and also by storing in a separate structures such as the Daud coat, which is also important fact related to UPSC Prelims. So kindly note that this Daud coat is a stone and wood structures acting as a natural refrigerators. The storage or the preservation of the food items over the hilly region on extreme climatic conditions is also vital for their sustenance. And the people in the village also shows high resilience to that extreme weather conditions despite having isolation and uncertainty over that region. And the next topic is about the 10th Swachh Survekshan, and it is the world's largest urban cleanliness survey, which was launched by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. And the theme for the year 2025 to 2026 is Swachhta Hi Nyay Pehel, Badaye Hath Kare Safai Saath. And the new award categories that has been included in the 10th Swachh Survekshan is to recognize Swachh Shahar Jodis based on the average score of the Jodis, with the recognition across each population category, which has been recently included in the survey. And the primary aim of this inclusion is to build garbage-free cities, and it's catalyzing the changes in the society. And what newly has been added to this survey is the round the year citizen feedback has been obtained from the citizens, and the citizens feedbacks also been increasing in numbers from the earlier 32% to the 35%. And also the expansion of Ganga towns to the river towns is also been included, and a separate matrix for coastal cities also has been added to this newly conducted survey of Swachh Survekshan. And the next topic is about World Meditation Day, which was observed annually on 21st December of every year, and it has been adopted in the 2024 by the United Nations General Assembly. And the primary objective of observing this meditation day is to have awareness about the meditation and along with its benefits, and to recall the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. So this objective is very important for our UPSC prelims. So kindly note that. And moving to the practice question, and the question is: consider the following statements regarding 10th Swachh Survekshan. First topic is: it is the world's largest urban cleanliness survey. And the first statement is: it is the world's largest urban cleanliness survey. Second statement: it was launched by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. which of the statements given above are correct? So in this question also they have asked about the correct statement, and the first statement was correct because it is the world's largest urban cleanliness survey, and the second statement was incorrect because it was launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, not the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. So we need to be very aware of that, and the answer for this question will be option A, one only. Yes. With this, we came to the conclusion of this video. Hope you guys like the video. Please share your positive comments and suggestions in the comment section given below, and share the video to your friends, and don't forget to click the subscribe button and bell icon for receiving on-time notification. Thank you for watching us. Have a wonderful day.